Terror by the Bay. I'm David. Today, Stormy Daniels took the stand. And on there, she said she prefers to be called Stormy Daniels. So you will no longer hear me reference her as Stephanie Clifford / Stormy Daniels. She wants to be called Stormy Daniels. I respect that. She will be Stormy Daniels henceforth. She took the stand and testified against Donald Trump in the New York criminal trial involving election interference in the 2016 election, where Trump was in a conspiracy with AMI or Michael Cohen, depending, to pay Karen McDougal via AMI or Stormy Daniels via Michael Cohen to silence their stories to prevent that information from coming out before the 2016 elections, which undoubtedly would have destroyed his credibility with certain voter populations. Hence why they are felonies. She was apparently very candid in her testimony. She spoke very quickly and had to be told numerous times to slow down to allow the court reporter to catch up. She was probably nervous. She didn't always answer the questions that were being asked. I'm assuming she was expanding or telling a story, so the judge had to kind of put her back into answering questions. And she could get into some graphic detail. Now, they did discuss early on that they weren't going to talk about Donald Trump's genitalia, so no mushrooms love for anyone here. But she was being very candid as to what happened, and the defense had to object numerous times to stop her testimony because it was getting too graphic. And the judge upheld a number of those objections simply because he understood that she had to testify and she had to get graphic to a point, but there was a line that he wanted. No, you make your point. No, did you have sex with them? Yes. Did you have sex on the bed? Yes. And then she would start describing the position, and then objection. No, we're not going to talk about positions. Just did you have sex with them on the bed? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Then you move on. It's stuff like that. Apparently the judge did get with the prosecutors, because you can imagine the prosecutors want as much of that detail in there. Trump's team asked for a mistrial. The judge said, nope, not having a mistrial. And the team said, well, she's prejudicial. She's told too much and the jury's prejudiced. The judge said, you just need to object more. Okay? Judge can't object. It's got to be up for the defense attorneys to do that. So let's look at the energy of the Trump trial after, with Stormy Daniels testifying. She was cross-examined. Before we start. She was cross-examined, and they basically said she was trying to extort money out of Trump. And that doesn't appear to be the case, but that's the angle they're trying to discredit her for. Notice that they didn't go on and say that she didn't have a relationship with him, just that she was trying to extort him. That's not helping Trump's defense. It's just trying to discredit the witness. So what's the overall energy of the trial now that Stormy Daniels has testified for entertainment purposes only? Okay, here comes one of the two women wielding their sword, telling the story. We've heard parts of this story before, but now we've got more details on there. She's young, but I mean, she's in her 40s, so she's not like young. She's not a teenager or something along those lines. But, she was in her late 20s when this happened. So, yeah, this is a young woman who's discovering her power back then. Allegedly meeting up with a man who, was interested in her in like her career and stuff like that, but that's not what he was interested in her for. Crossed with the woman she is today. How interesting. This card came up in Marina's too. The woman that she was, the woman that she is now. Stormy Daniels in her mid-40s is very different than Stormy Daniels in her late 20s. A much more mature, refined woman. And can hold her... Maybe she wouldn't be... I don't think she would be able to testify like this when she was younger. She can do it now. And she's good at it. She knows how to defend herself. One of the things in the testimony was that when Trump originally said that he wanted to have dinner with her through an intermediary, she said no. And her publicist said, "Oh, do it. You know, you'll get a great story. What's the worst that can happen?" Well, an assault was the worst thing that can happen. But even after that, he kept trying to get cozy with her, and she kept beating back his advances. He talked about getting her on The Apprentice. They talked about that for a bit, said he couldn't get her on, and she cut off all communication. She basically, as she said, she ghosted him at that point. That's not exactly the behavior of an extortionist. An extortionist is going to want to keep doing things and build up a portfolio that they can, no, not just one act on a golf course in Lake Tahoe back in 2006. They're going to keep going because they want to build up a library of stuff that you get more money that way. That's what an extortionist would do. So this extortionist argument doesn't fly. Oh, God. In the past, we have the Five of Cups. After the ordeal in the Lake Tahoe hotel room, she said she didn't tell anybody because she was ashamed. Card of disappointment and shame. And, you know, she just wanted this story to go away. But when Trump started running, her publicist called and said, "No, this is the time to sell your story." Stormy said she wasn't in it for the money. She just wanted the story to go away so her husband wouldn't find out. That might be a little bit hard for the jury to swallow. Just saying. It may be true, but it's going to be hard for them to swallow. Plus, there was a bidding war for her story, and she sold it to the highest bidder. So, you know, she went through a lot. And I think, but also the jury can look at it. It's like, yeah, I can see she wants this thing to go away. But at the same time, what she's been through, yeah, this jerk over here can pay me $130,000. Thank you very much. And the story goes away. You know, why would you say no to that? Currents. Well, there's a naked woman in a star. The only thing that's missing is the word pornography. Adult film star. But she's also the star of the trial. We've been waiting for her. The jury's been waiting for her. The news media has just been, salivating at her testimony. This is it. The testimony is here. The testimony is out. I mean, we still have Karen McDougal to discuss, but that's Karen McDougal's really was an affair. Stormy Daniels was different, and she gave her testimony, and she was on full display, well, figuratively speaking, and she held her own quite well. The overarching energy is the Two of Wands. She discussed how things went down back in 2006. She explained, who reached out to her. She had about Trump wanting to have dinner with her, and she said no, and she getting convinced to go, and what she and Donald Trump talked about, and the whole 9 yards, and explained how she had Trump's head of security's name in her phone, and how Trump had her name in his Rolodex, and there's a whole patchwork of a story that was laid out. Again, I think she was key at moving this case forward and getting the jury to understand where the story began and ended, and kind of the guardrails of what was going on in this event. The lesson to be learned is the Eight of Swords. And this card is funny because this one came up in my Karen McDougal reading that I did with Marina. The lesson to be learned is she's not going to be held hostage to anyone. She was under she signed an NDA where she couldn't talk about it. She wanted this case to go away. It didn't. And now she has to testify. And in some ways, she's concerned about her safety and the safety of her family, because we know what Trump supporters can be like when people attack Donald Trump. They are not very kind or open-minded or empathetic at all. They go on the hunt. But at the same time, she is nobody's victim. Even if she was ashamed of what happened, back in 2006, she owned it. Donald Trump owns nothing. There's a statement. Not only does he not own anything, and he's not accountable for anything. He also doesn't own anything. Everything's leveraged and to the hilt. He doesn't really own a damn thing. Again, she's nobody's victim. She will take the blindfold off. She will take the bonds off. She will be her own person. And that's who she is now. The outcome is the 5 of coins. Upon cross, she acknowledged that she owes Donald Trump like $500-600 million for a defamation case. Or sorry, $500,000 to $600,000, not million. Like $500,000-600,000 because of that defamation case. And she herself only got $130, so she's out about $500,000 on this one. But this is also, these money payments that went to her and Karen McDougal, they denied the public that information. This very valuable information here that would have caused these people maybe to act differently when they were voting for the President of the United States. She moved the ball forward on this case. She absolutely did. Okay. The judge apparently had to admonish Trump's lawyer, John Blanche, who, by the way, Trump doesn't even refer to his lawyer by his name. He calls him the lawyer guy, or Mr. Lawyer, or Mr. Lawyer guy. That's not a good sign. You'd think after a $3 million retainer, he'd remember his lawyer's name. Heck, I know his lawyer's name. I didn't pay him a damn dime. Basically, Trump is grumping and muttering under his breath that's audible and, making gestures and things like that. And the judge basically told the lawyer to tell his client to knock it the hell off. Insolent little 3-year-old having his tantrum. Apparently also Trump put up a True Social post about this, who the witness was going to be today, and it's so unfair that his lawyers weren't prepared for it. Then he took it down because guess what? You're not supposed to talk about the witnesses, you dumbass. And as many a legal pundit pointed out, if your lawyers don't know how to cross-examine Stormy Daniels in a hush money case involving Stormy Daniels, you need new lawyers. Yeah, I think so. How did the jury take Stormy's testimony? I think that's more interesting. We don't care what Trump. Well, we kind of care what Trump thinks about it. But what did the jury think about Stormy Daniels' testimony? They are going to weigh the evidence. She provided a lot of information, a lot of valuable information for them to consider during their deliberations. And she's the second to last. Well, there's actually 2 more. You still have Karen McDougal's testimony and Michael Cohen's. Karen McDougal's testimony, I think, is what the 9 of Wands are. Part of this is like, wow, this woman went through a lot. I think they were exhausted by the time it was done today because they had to pay attention. But now you got Karen McDougal coming next. Michael Cohen's going to come in, but his is more just corroboration of what David Pecker and Keith Davidson put together. These women are filling in details. I think the jury, again, they can look at the information that she got from that they got from her testimony, and it was kind of there's a lot there. They've been waiting for her testimony. Underneath is the 3 of Wands. It's waiting for your shift to come in. They've been waiting for this testimony. Probably if you polled all the jurors beforehand and then revealed it after the trial, this was the person they were waiting for. This is the person they wanted to hear from. In the past, we got the Knight of Wands. The case was proceeding forward at a very steady clip. The last day, I think on Monday, the case was mostly about documents, kind of plodding forward. But the case is making its progression through. And Donald Trump, depending on what he's talking about, says this case is going too fast or it's going too slow. Going too fast, he can't get justice. Going too slow, it's impeding his ability to fundraise and have rallies. current situation is the Four of Swords. The jury is going to take that information that she gave them, and they are going to really give it a lot of weight. They are going to roll through it. They're going to discuss it. This is going to be, her testimony was a key testimony in this case, and she gave them a lot to think about. The overarching energy is the Six of Swords. I think, again, moving the case forward, I think her testimony, again, she's a mother and she wants her peace. And it's going to be a while before she gets her peace. I had that other card show up as, in my reading with Marina, I had the strength card come up. It takes a lot of strength for these women to come forward and talk about this. Again, when you're talking about a powerful, wealthy man who also just happens to be the former president of the United States, it's a lot of courage to come forward and spill the beans on what happened there. But I think she moved this case forward. I think she would like to go on with her life and do the things she enjoys doing. And I think I think she came across as credible. I think the jury, they'd be ready to vote now if they could. But they can't. The lesson to be learned is here comes the collapse of Trump Tower. His little 30-second tryst with her. When asked how long it lasted, she said not very long. Or it was short or something. It was implying that it was brief, not a long thing. Her testimony was very damaging to the case. Mostly because it undermines all of Trump's defenses. All his purported defenses. So the first defense was he didn't want Melania to find out. Her testimony said she asked about Melania. Trump showed her the picture of Melania, and she goes, "Oh, your wife's beautiful. Won't she mind?" He's like, "Oh no, we don't even sleep in the same bedroom. What if she finds out? Oh, don't worry about it. She's nobody to me." It was that kind of callousness. That's not exactly, and he never mentioned Melania to her after that. Never said, "No, keep this a secret from my wife," or anything along those lines. So there's no credibility that he didn't want Melania to find out. That's one part. The other part is he's trying to say that he never met this woman, that he never had sex with her, that she's just trying to extort him. But she can go into details about everything that happened, and I'm sure that she's got evidence that can back that up. Lots of phone calls back and forth. Her behavior is not that of an extortionist. I think the jury will see that. Trump is saying how he didn't, all these people around here just doing stuff behind his back. He had no idea. No, that's not what the testimony is showing. The testimony shows that he quite well knows everything that's going on. So this is just another blow to Trump. The outcome is the Queen of Cups. She kept her emotions in check the whole time through. Apparently during Cross, she was very terse with Trump's attorney. I can't say I blame her. But she did not get hysterical. She didn't, not like Hope Hicks. She wasn't crying and sobbing or, acting fearful. She was nervous, but she kept her emotions in check. And again, she came across as a very mature, independent, powerful woman. I'm surprised I haven't gotten the High Priestess yet, because that would be a great card to represent her. So I think the jury, basically, they've been waiting for her, and the jury was not disappointed. Okay. Now we will ask, what does Trump think about her testimony? We just had Stormy give testimony, and he's there glowering, shaking his head, muttering, stuff like that. To the point the judge said, "Hey, I can see it. I can hear it. The jury can see it. Knock it off." Another fine coming your way. What does Trump... The other thing, and that card came up in my thing with Marina. Trump's paying all this good money to these attorneys, and they stink. All right. What does Trump think about Stormy Daniels' testimony and the impact on this case? Oh, just like the jury, he's wondering where he spent his money. You know, he can't believe how much of the beans that this woman shared. He's being exposed here. Not only is he being exposed in the civil trials not being as wealthy as he makes, but his values are being exposed here. Crossed with the Knight of Cups. Yeah, he's just in. He's looking at this, weighing the evidence on this one. Or I guess to me again, the jury's weighing the evidence, and it just shows. I think I might be back on the jury. This might be how the jury's viewing Donald Trump. That he's fake. He came up to this woman and offered her things like you can be on The Apprentice, you can make money, and stuff like that. But he wasn't interested in any of that. He was just interested in having sex with her. Page of Wands, speaking and taking action here. Let's see. Am I going to get a Trump reading or am I going to get a jury? So what do we have? We have the money payment that was being made, the value of keeping this quiet versus the amount that he had to pay out. The drunken hillbilly brawl card is the current situation. I think Trump is so transactional. He doesn't understand why this woman's testifying. He paid her to be quiet. No, I paid you money. You should have been quiet. Why are you out there spreading this story? He's victimizing himself. We had an agreement, and you violated the agreement. And now he's angry. There's a lot of turmoil going on with Donald Trump with the Five of Wands, the drunken hillbilly brawl card. He wants that mistrial, and the thing is, he's under a gag order, so he can't do anything about it. He can't go forward and talk about it. He's gagged. And, the judge has told him it's not a fine next time. It's going to be prison next time. Choice is yours. Oh, I'm going to fight for my First Amendment right to speak. I don't care about going to prison. Don't you? Overarching energy is the Two of Coins. Trump's watching his case go down. He can't come up with the lies. He can't come up with the story. She keeps shooting down his alibis, his stories. None of his stories make sense. None of them hold water to it. She's extorting me. Well, that doesn't make sense. I never met her. Well, why would somebody you've never met extort you? I never had sex with her. His stories, I don't want Melania to know. His stories just don't make sense. God, same thing. He knows that her testimony is his undoing. His health might decline for this. In my previous reading, I had all sorts of major arcana, including the Judgment card and the Moon card. He's in the Death card. His wealth is going to go down. His health is going to go down. His self-esteem has taken a hit too because of all of this. Lesson to be learned. He's going down for this, and he knows it. He knows that this case is done. He can't win this case. He won't admit that to himself. He won't admit that to anybody, but intuitively he knows he's not going to win this case. There she is. I said, this would be my card for Stormy Daniels, the High Priestess. She came across kind of like a druid high priestess. She's the revered divine feminine here, sharing the knowledge, sharing the wisdom, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. Women are going to bring Trump down, and this woman, if he had only had a BJ, this woman is going to do that. In my other reading, he was livid. He wanted revenge. He wanted her unalived if he could do it. He can't, but that's what he would do. But I think in this one, it's just the jury is seeing who this guy really is, and it's really going to undo his case. And Trump is, again, he will never admit that to anyone because he's just going to try and manifest the best outcome for himself that involves him, getting away and getting scot-free. But he knows he's not going to win this case. Mistrials and delays are his only options at this point. Okay. Anything else with this? We asked about the jury. We asked about Trump. I think that's a pretty good stopping point right there. Let's go ahead and stop. We don't have to overdo this. All right, so we'll end it here. Cross-examination will be happening tomorrow as I film this on Tuesday night. Today, as you watch it on Wednesday. No, I'm sorry. It'll be on Thursday. No court on Wednesday. So on Thursday, cross-examination will continue, and we'll see how that goes. I think this whole extortion thing, it's just going to fall flat. There's nothing there. There's no sizzle with that story. Thank you for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your comments, everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so that this video makes it out to a wider audience. To folks discovering this channel recently or for the first time, welcome to the channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.